So, AI updates, artificial updates, January 24th, 24, and there are a lot of updates this week. And the picture on the right shows that Microsoft Office is now officially renamed, and it's called Microsoft Copilot. So no more Office, we have AI instead. Anyway, DeepSeek R1 makes a lot of waves. So this is a Chinese model. DeepSeek has many models which rank very highly, but R stands for reasoning. And they just released it this week, and it is absolutely amazing, and it is absolutely open source. It comes with different sizes, anywhere from 1.5 billion parameters to 671. So I think the small sizes like 7, 8, 14, or maybe even 32 billion parameters, you can easily run on your laptop using Ollama. And yes, it is available on Ollama. And you can download it on Hugging Face, but frankly, just you can just use it with Ollama. So it's open source, MIT license, which is very permissive. You can use it for business too. It's open weight, developed by Chinese company DeepSeek. Performance rivals that of OpenAI O1. Can run quantized versions on Ollama, as I mentioned. Has a feature called self-evolution. Affordable, significantly cheaper than comparable models if you go directly to chatdeepseek.com and use them via API. It is much cheaper, which is great because there are so many things people around the world can do with this model. I really like this video by Matthew Berman, who usually makes maybe one video a week. This week he made so many videos, and this one he was using a Vultr service to test the model. Look at the computer he was using. 8 GPUs, each one uses 192 gigabytes of VRAM, right? Big storage and a very powerful CPU, 256 threads. And the performance is absolutely amazing. He has a standardized test which he used on so many models. And this model, the DeepSeek R1, absolutely with flying color. Okay, it's amazing what this model is doing. Anyway, Google Gemini 2.0 Flash. So Google upgraded their model, and they also have now Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking. And this is the latest model. And this is the screen from open leaderboard. And you see that this model now is on the top position. So yeah, I don't have it. I have paid version, Gemini Advanced. You can see that I have Flash Experimental and Experimental Advanced, so they both are version 2, but the thinking model is not here yet. But if you have Google Studio or if anyway, or you can access it via API. Next, please mute yourself. Next, PerfCodeGen from Salesforce. So what it is, you take a regular model to do coding, right? Software coding, but then you can improve it so much by using a certain process. So what you do, you ask model to write code, then you test the code, and if it fails, you provide error back, and you go back and forth until the code actually works. So first is correctness phase, and the second phase is performance phase. So you go back and forth, so give the model a chance to improve the performance. The result, model plus this architecture, it provides much better code. Meta's seamless M4T translator. Again, amazing. So it translates many languages from 100 languages to 36 languages. It can understand text and speech, so it can do speech to speech or text to text or text to speech, speech to text, and so on. And it nearly as fast as human interpreter. So synchronous translation now can be done by the model. Stargate AI infrastructure project. So it was announced. It's not coming from federal, it's private investors. And SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, MGX, also ARM, Microsoft, NVIDIA. So what they're planning to do, they're planning to build infrastructures, data centers, like server centers for AI on US. And of course, none of the players have this kind of money, but they're planning to do it over next maybe 5 years. Elon Musk, of course, thinks that they don't have money to do it. $500 billion. So it's called Stargate. Trump called this the largest AI infrastructure project in history, and the project expected to create 100,000 US jobs. Next, hold on. Yeah, we finished here. Cache-Augmented Generation. I call it like context augmented generation. Anyway, you all familiar with RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, where you take information, documents, split in small pieces, convert them into vectors, and then you search answers by converting your question into a vector and finding similar vectors in the database, and then using the context of these vectors to generate the response. But here what you're doing, you're using a model which can get long context. For example, it can read the whole book. So you take the book, you load it as an artifact to some big model, and then ask the model to answer questions based on this book. And it works very well. It works like RAG, sometimes better than RAG, and it doesn't require you to build a vector database or any like programming around it. So it works pretty well out of the box, but you need a model with a long context length, which nowadays is becoming common. Okay, couple links on RAG best practices. So this is archive article and GitHub. Firecrawl. Firecrawl is an open source platform for developers, allowing you, well, to crawl the web and extract data in a nice format. It's available as a free and as a paid service. It's on GitHub, so it's a good thing. ChatGPT introduced task feature. So what you can do, you can ask ChatGPT to do something at certain time on certain schedule, and well, it will do it. For example, it can work as a reminder. So it's a powerful feature. Microsoft, a lot of updates. Well, first they changing their organization inside. So they created a CoreAI group led by Jay Parikh, Copilot Chat agents for business, premium AI features inside Microsoft 365 plans, and renaming Microsoft 365 Office to Microsoft 365 Copilot. Okay, President Trump has rescinded President Biden's executive order from 2 years ago on AI, removing governmental constraints and oversight. Biden constraints focused on AI oversight, which included testing requirements, safety evaluations to address potential risks. So these are now removed. Well, hopefully it will help faster research. Test time compute. A lot of conversation about that. So this is the new like big wave. OpenAI has demonstrated in December that if you give a model more time to think, it can improve the answer. This was actually not self-evident. The challenge was to create a smart system from stupid blocks. Well, maybe not stupid, but not as smart as you can get by combining them together. Some people thought it is not possible. My picture was always you take a pack of dogs and you're trying to make them work together somehow so that they can be equivalent to a human, well, genius. Well, Einstein was not genius, but like his face of being a genius. Anyway, uh, so making Einstein from a pack of dogs. OpenAI has converted stupid into smart using special process. This process is basically chain of thought. So there was original paper from Google. It was submitted in the beginning of 2022 and then went through multiple revisions. One was in beginning 2023, which is 2 years ago. Chain of thought, prompting, and So this is basically this process. It includes generating multiple versions of response using self-reflection, selection, backtracking, retrying, so on. So this is a great achievement that OpenAI actually succeeded, right? But it is expensive. Some answers took literally thousands of dollars, actually even tens of thousands of dollars, to compute. The result is amazing. The model is very smart, but also very expensive and very slow. But given how fast the prices go down, probably in 1-2 years, we can get these results very cheaply, maybe even this year. Okay, reaching through AGI is not an event, it is a process. The Turing test was officially passed by AI in May of last year, like half a year ago, but nobody even noticed that this happened. AI has already outperformed humans in many areas, but there are still areas where humans are ahead of AI. There is no single formal definition of when AGI is achieved. Different people use different metrics depending on their agenda, and definitions change and get more specific with time. So it's a moving target. OpenAI is trying to prove that they have achieved AGI for legal reasons. This is because of their contract with Microsoft, which changes the term as soon as they achieve AGI. So this is between lawyers of OpenAI and Microsoft, whether they achieved AGI or not. Next, add reasoning to any smaller model. This is great. I love Mervyn Prazen. This is his picture. He puts a lot of YouTube videos. I highly recommend to subscribe to his channel. So the idea is the following. You ask question to DeepSeek, and DeepSeek is a reasoning model, and as it answers, it starts printing on your screen the way it thinks, right? And then eventually, after it went through like back and forth, it provides the final answer. So what you can do, you can copy from the screen the reasoning and then provide this reasoning as an example to some other model, which is maybe not as smart as DeepSeek, much cheaper. Well, DeepSeek is actually cheap, but let's say you're using local model. So, there is a term zero shot answering, or one shot, or 5 or 10 shot answering. What it means is when you're asking the question, with the question, you also provide examples how to answer similar questions, right? So here you can use DeepSeek to provide these reasoning patterns, how to answer the questions, and then a regular model using these patterns can become much better at answering questions. This is very powerful. It's a very short video, about 4.5 minutes, like really great. And he provides the code and example how to do it. More updates. Deloitte report 74% of businesses which use Gen AI actually exceed return on investment expectations. So AI works for those companies which are using it. And the first targets are IT, cybersecurity, and customer service. Then Cline 3.2. So Cline is AI assistant for coding. It's open source on GitHub. Here I provide the GitHub link for Cline. And well, it is very good, and it works with all models. You can use it in VS Code. You can even use it with GitHub Copilot if you want. It can understand, analyze your code, generate code that both accurate and so on. So it's a good thing. If you never heard of it, so this is a picture. It's an example. Somebody was using DeepSeek R1, which is a reasoning model, using it with Ollama locally, and using Cline as a code assistant together. So you can combine things like that. By the way, this is my screen, and I'm subscribed. I'm paying $20 a month to OpenAI for ChatGPT, and you can see the models which are available, and now they have O1 mini. So they added O1 in December, but now they added O1 mini. They promised to release O3 mini soon, and then maybe O3, so we're waiting. Next, Google DeepMind Evolution. So this is a very interesting paper. So this is a new research, evolutionary search, a user genetic algorithm where LLM generates, recombines, and refines candidate solutions based on feedback from evaluator. And what's good about it is that so it uses feedback. It can use parallelization, which makes things faster. So how you make thinking faster. And you see a parallelization to speed up exploration of the solution space. Significant performance improvement. No formal solver required. So steps. LLM generates initial set of candidate solutions. Evaluator assesses the quality of each solution, and then it recombines and refines the most promising solutions, and then repeated this several times. Yeah, so this is reasoning. All big players now creating reasoning models, and Google, like, well, champion, definitely. Anthropic introduced a new feature which is called citation. So when Anthropic answers a question, it provides accurate links to the original sources, so citations, detailed references, the exact sentences and passages it uses to generate the responses. So this is great feature. Next, humanity last exam. So this is from the website. It's coming from the Center for AI Safety and Scale AI. And what they created a new AI benchmark, which consists of 3,000 questions. And big models currently are struggling with this test. So they have less than 10% positive correct answers. So this is great. This is very good effort because there are so many tests, but AI already mastered them. They already like in the 90%, 95%, 99%. So this is a new test which is supposed to be challenging for AI. ByteDance, well, this is a Chinese company. It actually owns TikTok. So they allocated $20 billion this year on AI, and about half of it on infrastructure. So this is how serious they are about AI. There was interesting interview with Dario Amodei, who is the CEO of Anthropic, Anthropic Claude. And what he was saying that AI models may surpass human capabilities soon in almost everything within 2-3 years. So he said nobody can tell you exactly when it will happen. It's a process. Interesting. He said that AGI is more like a marketing gimmick, like because well, it doesn't exist. Different people think about it differently, but it is coming. It is coming soon, and it will exceed humans in like everything or almost everything. Next, Perplexity Sonar Pro. So Perplexity gives you now tools allowing you to generate your own generative search. So it's more accurate with many other tools which exist, providing trustworthy answers. And so this is the link. ByteDance, again, Chinese big company, they released a new model, Dubao 1.5 Pro. So I don't know how big it is. I couldn't find like how many parameters, but it is a sparse mixture of experts. It's not open source, although they open sourced some technologies which are used in this model, like for example, technology behind reasoning abilities and technology for interaction with computers using screenshots. But overall, it's not open source. What we know, it's multimodal, text, images, and speech. It uses a sparse mixture of experts architecture, and it is on par or better than leading models like Llama for 5 billion parameters, GPT-4o, Claude 3.5. But they claim to use fewer resources and that it is cheaper, much cheaper than others. So that's coming from China. Next, OpenAI released Operator, and Operator allows can be used to work with the browser. And there are two ways it can work with your browser on your computer, but actually most of the tasks you can do using virtual browser in the cloud. So you can ask it to do something, to go to some website, to order something for you, to check something for you. You can use it in combination with the new task manager, right? And yeah, this is great. It only available for subscribers of the Pro plan. Pro plan is $200 a month, and it is under development, but they just wanted to release something to see how people are using it. A lot of effort is in security, safety, privacy as usual. And the model which they developed for this is called Computer User Agent, CUA. Okay, this is OpenAI, let's say $200 a month. But then we go on GitHub and we see a project called Browser Use. So website is browseruse.com, and there is GitHub and what it is. So these are two young people from Europe, Zurich, Switzerland, and they created software which allows you to automate working with the browser. So AI can work with the browser. It's open source, it's compatible with all mainstream models. And here is the link where it's a video, and the project is to use DeepSeek R1 model, which we already discussed. It's a very good model with browser use. So you can have your own agent to do your own tasks. This is amazing. So yeah, and this is, by the way, web agent accuracy. So you see, this is browser use, which again, it's free, it's open source, and it's better than all other tools, including OpenAI Operator. So it is the best, and it is free, and it's open source. Next, Gemini Advanced 1.5 Pro with deep research. I have it in my subscription. I used it. I was amazed. So you ask it a question. I specifically ask it about two technologies to compare them. And it went into research phase where it collected a lot of links. Then it took time to analyze those papers or websites, and then it gave a report. So literally hundreds of websites in real time. Well, it took maybe a minute or two to get the answer, but it was really useful. It's a great tool. It is part of the Gemini Advanced subscription, which remind you is $20 a month. Yeah, I think this is great. And then you can ask it. It just puts the report in Google Docs. That's what I did. I clicked on the button to do this, and then I have the report as like several pages. And yeah, this is great. Perplexity Assistant. This is a mobile application. This is a brand new. It is available on Play Store, so you can download and start using it. So it can perform actions for you, like booking a table in a restaurant, ordering a ride on Uber, drafting an email, and so on. It can interact on other apps, which I just mentioned. It uses reasoning AI, can understand complex questions, follow multi-step instructions, can understand voice, touch, gestures, and even what your camera sees. Remembers your previous interactions and preferences. And these are some examples of what it can do for you, like find correct date and time of the event, set a reminder for you, help you book a table, search for restaurant, identify what to see your device camera on the screen, draft emails and set reminders, call a ride for you, find a forgotten song. Wow. So it can listen to and then find the song. Yeah, this is probably useful. And yeah, I love Perplexity. This is a great tool. Anyway, OpenAI GPT-4B Micro. This is very interesting. So this is a startup called Retro Bioscientists. And Sam Altman has invested $180 million of his own money into this company. And this company is a biological company, and the purpose is life extension, biological research, re-engineering proteins to enhance their function, particularly in the context of stem cell research. protein engineering, redesigning proteins, and so on. So they using a special model which was developed by OpenAI for biological research. Model is trained on a data set of protein sequences, uses a relatively small data set, making it a small language model for specific domain. And one of the primary applications, efficiency of stem cell production. It has shown promising results. So extending human lifespan and so on. So this is a YouTube video which really well explains this collaboration between OpenAI and this bio company. Next, not AI, but something I was looking into recently, which is Rust and WebAssembly. You know that in the browser you can run JavaScript to make websites interactive. But actually, you can run any other, not any, but many other languages, like, for example, C, C++, .NET language, Rust, Java, even Python, I believe. How you do it? Well, you need to compile the program in this language in a special format, which is called WebAssembly. So this is WebAssembly, how it looks. It's kind of like a regular assembly language. You see get value A, get value B, then add them together as the integer 32, then export it, and so on. So this is called WAT, which is text files, right? But then you can compile it into a binary file with extension WASM. And then you can load these WASM files into the browser and executes them in the browser. So this is example. In the browser, in the JavaScript, you write WebAssembly dot instantiate streaming, fetch this module, this file which has code inside, and then it will work for you. So now you can write programs to run in web browser. These programs can do calculations. For example, you wrote it in Rust, and Rust is very good at doing fast calculations. And then you run it in the browser in the safety of this virtual machine inside the browser. So this is great. The WASM cannot directly change your HTML, so it can do it through only through JavaScript. So you call it from JavaScript and it tells JavaScript what to do on the page. So this is WebAssembly. And similar thing, like if you have this virtual machine to run inside the browser, what about running it without the browser, just as a separate small server? And Microsoft has done exactly that. They created Hyperlight, which is a small virtual machine running WebAssembly. And as a result is you create this small virtual machine. You can start it literally in 1-2 milliseconds. So you can create many of them. So it's extremely lightweight virtual machine designed to be embedded, designed to do many small fast operations. I think this technology have great future. Right now, Hyperlight works only with C and Rust, but probably will have support to many other languages, same as in the browser. And the last topic today, I found this gentleman to be very good. He has videos on how to be productive and how to learn and how to memorize. So yeah, I highly recommend him. His name is Justin Sung. He talks about the Pareto principle, 80-20. He talks about the Zeigarnik effect and championship mentality. I just recommend you to watch this video. Really liked it. Next, crowdsourced arena leaderboard. So what do we see? If you look on top for English queries, first of all, ChatGPT, I mean, OpenAI used to be the absolute champion, but now it doesn't even fit in the first three. So the first two is Gemini and then DeepSeek R1. Like this is how good this, and DeepSeek R1 is open source. You see, this green means open source and China. right? So these are for English queries, and on the right is for coding. So for coding, on the first place is Gemini, then OpenAI, or one model, then again Google, and then DeepSeek R1 again. So yeah, you see a lot of Chinese models and open source. What was surprising that Claude, it doesn't even show in English-only queries on the screen, so it went down. Whereas for coding, it's still relatively good. You see, the difference between this place and this place is not that big. You see the actual values, the ELA rating, 1324, 1369. So these are all very close to each other. So because I still like to use Claude, I think it's really good. Anyway, yes, Mark Benioff, who is, well, the person behind Salesforce, was talking that Salesforce will not hire software engineers this year in 2025. And he went into explanation that last year, 2024, they started using agents more and more. Well, Salesforce has created sales agents to work instead of regular human agents. They also created customer service agents, and they created agents to help the software engineers. So he said they increased productivity for software engineers by 30% last year because they started using agents. So Salesforce has something like 7,000 software engineers, maybe 6,000, 7,000. So it's like they hired 2,000 people, right, effectively. So he said, well, we don't need to hire more people. We just need to continue work on AI agents. So this is big. This is big change. People were talking that AI will decrease the hiring, but here it went to absolute 100% stop. No more hiring. Mark Zuckerberg announces layoffs after saying coding jobs will be replaced by AI. So similar kind of scandalous statements. Anyway, this is me as usual, and thank you.